Hello and welcome to ReginaldESQ. I am on the hook and this is my review of the Tier 3 American medium tank, the M2 medium tank. So is it any good? It's okay. It's not that great, and it's a little bit of a letdown after driving the T2. The T2 was okay and was good at popping out from behind rocks and popping back into cover again. This tank is kind of like just a upgraded version for Tier 3. The problem is that the T2 faced a maximum of a Tier 3 tank. This guy has to face Tier 5 tanks and really just can't do it. For example, it has 210 hit points, which is the lowest of any Tier 3 medium tank. The next lowest being the French D2 at 230 hit points, and the maximum being the Vickers Mark III at 280 hit points. So it really is lacking in hit point department. It weighs in at 28 tons though, which is the heaviest of all of the Tier 3 mediums, so feel free to ram any other Tier 3 medium and most of the light tanks as well. Speed wise, it comes in at 43 kilometers an hour, which is on the upper side of average. But the good thing is it does 18 kilometers an hour in reverse, which is the equal best along with the Panzer IVA. So it still has that ability to pop out, shoot and pop back. It's still good at that. However, the 43 kilometers an hour in forward, it doesn't accelerate as well as the T2 did. It takes a while to get to 43, but it's not bad. The track traverse of 40 is equal to best, which it shares once again with the Panzer IVA and the Panzer S35-739. So it is good track traverse, and at this time, this tank actually turns well whilst it's moving as well, which the predecessor didn't. The turret traverse of 41 is average, not too bad, but it does have the best view range, and the view range is really good. 370 meter view range is fantastic at this tier. The next best, to give you an idea, is 330 meters. So that's a big advantage there. Signal range of 615 is also the best in class by a fair way. Camouflage though, this tank isn't very good. It's the worst in class, and it does get spotted a little bit easier than I'd like. However, because you probably need to use hard cover with this tank anyway, it's not too much of a drama. The gun depression on this tank is very good. It has 14 degrees of gun depression, which is the second best at Tier 3 medium, the best being the Japanese Chiha with 15 degrees. It also has by far the best elevation at 40 degrees, the next best being 20 degrees. So the gun is very flexible in that respect. You'll also note at the moment it has the sawn-off shotgun on it, which is the Howitzer gun. I will go into the gun selection in a minute. The upgraded turret is an open top turret, which does mean that this tank is pretty vulnerable to HE, but I'll go into that more in Tank Inspector. For now, let's go and have a look at the grind for this tank. Now, the guns, it's a bit of an interesting thing. Now, I was able to go straight to the top radio and straight to the top engine on this tank. I'm not sure if it's because I've gone through the Tank Destroyer line, if that's why, or whether it's just because of the previous models. Alright, but let's have a look at these guns, because it's a bit interesting. Here is the M5, which is the gun we had on the previous tank, the T2. Basically, the M6 is the upgrade of that. Now, when you start with this gun, interestingly, it doesn't perform as well in this tank as it did in the T2. So, the rate of fire drops from 26.09 to 24. The aim time drops from 1.7 to 2.1. Why? I have no idea. But anyway, it has the same penetration of 48 and the same damage of 40 as it had in the Tier 2 tank. When we get the upgraded gun, and we managed to upgrade to the 37mm M6 gun, we find that, lo and behold, our rate of fire has gone back to what it was on the previous tank. We're back up to 26.09 and our aim time's back to 1.7. So it maybe feels like an upgrade, but they downgraded us in the first place. The only thing that's actually better is that the accuracy improves to 0.42 and the pen goes from 48 to 56. And that's the only improvement over the previous tank. Is that enough of an improvement considering we're now, instead of facing Tier 3s as top tier, we're now facing Tier 5s as top tier? No, it isn't. 40 damage is pretty bad at tier 4. I mean, the Matilda has, sorry, at tier 3. Matilda at tier 4 has 55, which is low, but it has fantastic pen. And look, it's just not good enough. Yeah, the 40 damage just isn't enough, especially combined with the 56 pen and the .42 accuracy. It's just not very good. Aiming time is still great. You can still use it to pop out and shoot, but it's just not as effective. Tier 4s and 5s, it just bounces off. So that leaves us with the Howitzer gun, which is the gun I ended up using. It's a 75mm gun, quite a large caliber. Has a 13.04 rate of fire, which is actually pretty good for a Howitzer type gun. I'm quite happy with the rate of fire. It has 38 pen and 175 damage. So I just want to compare this gun to the gun on another tank we all know and love. So on the left here, we can see the gun from the loved T18 Howitzer gun, also a 75mm gun, and here's our gun on our tier 3. Now bear in mind, the T18 is a tier 2 tank and it does rock. Has a rate of fire of 12.5. We've got a faster rate of fire at 13.04. But other than that, our penetration and damage is exactly the same as the T18. We do also have worse accuracy in the T18. T18 has 0.53 accuracy, we have 0.55, and our aiming time of 2.3 seconds is exactly the same. Basically what that means is the T18 faces tier 3 maximum. We are facing tier 5 maximum with a tier 2 gun. And it doesn't work that well. Yeah, if you're in a top tier, if you're in a tier 3 game, you will one-shot kill tier 2 tanks, just like you do when you're in the T18. And you will do good damage to a lot of tier 3 tanks. But tier 4 and tier 5 tanks, sometimes it just bounces and does 0. Even on some tier 4 tanks, or does, like, 15 points of damage, that sort of thing. Against tier 5 tanks, it can just bounce. That means you're going to have to use the premium ammunition with a 91 penetration, the heat, and 110 damage, which also sometimes just bounces anyway, if you're not careful about where you hit. So it's problematic. The gun really just isn't good enough at this tier. But if you're top tier, tier 3, you can have a good day. Alright, so yeah, that's my opinion on the guns anyway. And being less accurate than the T18, which, let's face it, isn't very accurate, is a bit of a problem, especially when you've got a tank here that needs to pop in and out of hard cover. Usually you can't do that at close up, you've got to do that at range. And with the slower aiming time, it's pretty much destroyed the tank of what it could be. Anyway, let's get into tank spec to have a quick look. Then I think I'll just show you a little bit of how the HE ammo works against tier 5 tanks, and then we'll get into a couple of games for you. As usual, I forgot to tell you my crew skills and all that. So the crew is a 75% trained crew, although they're up to 78% now, so it'll be somewhere between 75 and 78% in the game, a couple of games that you do see. Camouflage net, binoculars, and toolkit fitted. Small repair kit, large repair kit, and large first aid kit fitted. Okay. Alright, so let's take a look at the armour of the M2 in Tank Inspector. Go straight to the colorized view. You can see the lower plate is part of the strongest armour. It is 32mm thick and will bounce sort of auto cannons and that sort of shots. The upper plate is only 25mm thick. It is quite sloped, but it's not really going to stop very much. The driver's protective area is pretty poor at 21mm. Pretty much everyone's going to go through that. These big wide boxes on the side that actually extend past the tracks are pretty terrible at 21mm, and if you shoot actually around the gun, it's only 18mm there. Moving on to the side of the tank, we can see that this area here, in fact the whole side of the tank, is 18mm thick and 15mm on the hatch, so it's not going to stop anything pretty much. The rear of the tank is only 13mm and won't stop anything either. Now, moving on to the turret's not too bad. You can see the cheeks of the turret here are 38mm, which, as I say, at tier 3 and against tier 3 and 2 tier tanks, that's not too bad. The mantlet is also 38mm, and the blue areas here is actually armor, overlaid armor, so I've got there 25/25, which is very good if they happen to hit that bit. the side of the turret is 25 millimeters, and the rear section here is only 18. So you really can't take any shots in the side of this tank at all. As you can see, the top deck is only 9 millimeters thick, and also being an open top turret means that any HE hitting the turret or top of this tank is going to obliterate it. So the armor's not very good. The turret is the strongest part, and the gun does have very good gun depression. So try and get over hills. You might have some success if they happen to hit your turret. That's about all there is to it. It's not great armor. You really need to do peek out, take a shot, and pop back again. The problem is the aiming time is lower than it was with the T2, so it's a bit more difficult to do. And being HE shells have a very long travel time, and the accuracy is very poor. So at range it doesn't work that well. You need to be a bit closer, and the armor's not that good, so getting close is very dangerous. So it's a bit of a mismatch. It's not the best. But with this gun, if you're careful, you can have some pretty good games. You just have to be careful. T1, Tier 5 heavy tank. We hit it on the side there and do 18 damage.
Critical hit.
That told me for 45, so you can see, you know, heavy tank, Tier 5. You are doing damage at least.
That one didn't go through.
That one didn't. And I'm trying to aim for weak points, but it's not accurate enough. As you can see there, it goes off to the side. It's a side armor.
We're done for.
A Chiha, a lightly armored medium Tier 3 Japanese tank.
Critical hit.
We hit him in the back quarter. 12 points of damage. So, the map is Siegfried Line.
Let's get this show on the road.
We're in our Tier 3 M2 medium tank. Now, it's a Tier 5 game, but there's only 2 Tier 5s on each team. Our team has 2 Tier 5 artillery pieces, and the enemy team has a Tier 5 artillery as well. They also have 2 Tier 5 artilleries, because they've got 3 Tier 5 tanks, but they also have a KV-220, which is a beast of a tank at any time. But when the next best tank is a Tier 4, okay, there's their T-28, which is probably their next best tank. Now, I am using the M6 gun. I think I hit him. I'm going to keep firing. Keep blind firing.
Got him.
And we killed him. Great. So you can see great rate of fire. The shell velocity is a little low, so I do have to give a lot of lead here.
Enemy is hit. Enemy armor is damaged. Penetration.
Getting some good shots. As you can see, the reload on this gun is very, very fast. I think it's, what is it, 26 rounds a minute. Accuracy is not great though. But yeah, supposedly it's an upgrade from the M5 that we had on the previous tank, but the only real benefit is that it is a little bit more accurate. Other than that, it's pretty much the same gun. Same, and a little bit more penetration.
Ricochet.
We didn't manage to penetrate with that shot. A bit unlucky there. Wow, the enemy is just sitting out in the open. And there's an M2 medium, which is our equivalent. As you can see, the armor doesn't hold up very well. So this would be a viable gun if you're the kind of person who's happy to sort of sit in bushes, hide, and just snipe. This gun would be okay. It is very rapid firing, so if a tank gets caught out in the open, you can get rid of it. I've just been hit by an M2 medium from the front, so I need to back up a little bit while I continue to try and hit this Chiha.
We didn't penetrate their armor.
Another Chiha.
Penetration.
A little bit of bad luck there.
We didn't penetrate their
Oh,
armor.
a lot of bad luck there.
Critical hit.
Wow. Oh well. Such is life. So yeah, this gun is a viable option to the Howitzer. It's just that its damage of 40 per hit isn't good. when you're taking on a tank under fair circumstances. You really need to be hitting them without them knowing where you are to really make use of this gun. So the enemy is on the cap, so I decide to cruise past, take a shot, but I don't want to stay out in front of the enemy because I can't trade shots. Just want to try and reset them if I can find them. Okay, it's an M2 medium just like us, so I hit him and run. He does 63 to me. So he has got the HE gun, so he hit us with HE ammo, which is why he did a bit more damage than we did to him. And I don't want him to get lucky and hit my turret and absolutely blow me to pieces, so I'm going to take the long way around. But I do have to go back and reset cap because there's 2 of them on cap at the moment. So we can see we're winning quite convincingly, 11-5, but they have the KV-220 on cap. And that thing is virtually indestructible against the tanks it's against. Really, he's only on 1 kill, so he might have had trouble getting to people because he's a bit slow. So I was going to hit him and I thought, nah, he's too hard to penetrate, so let's just hit the M2 medium. At least reset some cap points from him, and I know I'm going to penetrate him. I can't see him anymore though, so I'm going to have a shot at the KV-220. Okay, the M2's dead, so it's just the KV-220 and their artillery left. He's not looking at me. I go to try and track him. Doesn't do any good. His tracks are now concealed, so I'm aiming at his turret. And we're of course we're getting an orange indicator, which means if we're extremely lucky we can penetrate. The turret is the weakest part of the KV-220. The hull is much stronger. Now I've just switched now to premium ammunition because I want to see if I can penetrate him. Have a look to see if I can get that Artie in range, but he's behind a building. So have a look at this KV-220 again. Now that we've got premium ammo, maybe we can pen the turret. Or maybe not. Oh dear. Yeah, it looks like even with premium ammunition, we just don't have the capability to pen the KV-220. Unless we get a fluky lucky shot. But I had to try because we need to reset cap. Anyway, fortunately our other tanks are able to take him out. So we didn't do too bad. We got a class 2 badge and we managed to get Confederate as well. I'll just move on to the next screen. And we finished sort of middle of the road there on XP. We didn't probably do any spotting, I don't think at all. We did a little bit of damage at 423. But yeah. But then again, we were bottom tier in that game, in a tier 5 game. And we can see here we fired 35 shots due to the rapid fire nature of the gun. 24 of our shots hit and only half of those 12 penetrated, so the pen is lacking a bit. Admittedly, I only used premium ammunition at the end to try and pen the KV-220, and that's probably what we bounced half of those shots off anyway. So we did 423 damage, 340 that was from a distance of greater than 300 meters, which was mostly at the start there when those tanks were just driving around in the field. We received 2 hits, both penetrated, and both of those were from our equivalent using the HE ammunition. We spotted 2, we damaged 8 and destroyed 1, and we got 66 points of resistance damage, and we managed to get 30 base defense points as well off that M2. So earnings wise, not too bad. With the premium ammunition, it did cost us a bit more. I think it's about 800 per shot with the premium ammunition, but profit wise, there's no problems with this tank. Alright, let's have a look at another game.
Let's go.
The map is Live Oaks. We are in our tier 3 American medium tank, the M2, and it's a tier 4 game. There's about 6 tier 4 tanks on enemy team, and the rest of the tanks are all tier 3s, so not too bad a lineup for us. This time we are using the Howitzer gun, the M3, so we can see how that works. I decided to push up this side of the map since I'm in a sort of a medium tank, and I'm also in a tank that really can't brawl. I don't have very good armor, so I want to be shooting from cover, and also I want to utilize my good gun depression. So I'm trying to find a spot up here behind a bush with a bit of a hill so I can utilize the best abilities of the tank. Now our heavy tanks and some mediums have gone to town. There's also a Chiha and a Valentine that's pushed right forward into town. I'm a bit worried about that, but anyway, I decided to focus on what I'm doing. I decided to move over here, let this other friendly tank have a bit more space. And we can see a Panzer up there. We've got our T-46 pushing forward, M3 Stu push forward on the other side, so they should spot anything in these bushes up here, so I'm waiting for them to spot something. Bearing in mind the accuracy of this gun isn't very good. So there's a Matilda. I decided to fire and we missed by a mile. Waiting to reload and he's gone. It's about this time I start to think, you know, the enemy's not pushing this side very hard. So we can get a shot on this guy here, but no, he moves away. I'm actually starting to think, I look at the map and I see all our tanks on that flank are gone. And there's a bunch of tanks pressing towards our cap. So, time to just turn around and go the other way. Go back to cap and defend. So we can see a Panzer 1C up there. Our Lux is also doing the same thing. He's turned around. I think he twigged on slightly before me. And he's taking care of that Panzer 1C. I want to try and get back in time to defend our artillery. So I decided to keep pressing on because I just can't see anybody at the moment. There goes our Birch gun. Can we save the Panzer SFL? I really don't want them out of the equation because we really need them. Okay, there's a Panzer 2G. Hard to hit moving targets with a Howitzer. 38T. We get a shot into him for 38 and our teammate sets him on fire and he dies from the fire. I get shot by a Chiha, which does 70 damage to me, which is not good. Remember, I've got very low hit points in this tank. We can't take too many hits. There's a Ki Ni, light tank. We managed to finish him off. He was on low health. And now there's the Panzer 2G. And for once, the HE ammo works well and we blow him to pieces. Good damage there of 150. Our first good damaging hit of the game. But we're on 2 kills. So unfortunately artillery is dead, but now it's just a matter of defending the cap. We're in a bit of trouble here. I shouldn't have knocked that tree over, but I'm trying to get cover of these bushes so I can try and spot from a position. And there we have a Chi-Hate. Unfortunately, dead tank blocking the view. I take a shot and miss. He has now spotted me. I fire, hitting him flush on the front for 33 damage. Really, that's not... For a HE gun, we really want to be doing a lot more damage than that, unfortunately, especially against a Japanese tank. I fire blind against the DW2. I don't know if I hit him or not. Looks like we missed. That shot just tracks him, unfortunately. He has got a pretty good gun, which I don't want to get hit by. We do 31 with that shot. He's got 50mm of armor all around. And our HE does 38 pen, so not great. And that's a tier 4 heavy. So you can see that really this gun really lacks. Now, that artillery landed too close for me for that to have been a guess. Somebody is spotting me and I can't see them. So I decide to move and try and outflank because, yeah, somebody was spotting me. If I stay there, artillery is just going to waste me. And, yeah, somebody is definitely spotting me. And seeing as there's some higher tier tanks, they'll probably have, although I do have very good view range, they may have better camouflage view range than me, and they may be able to see me and I can't see them, so I don't want to risk it. We'll try and outflank and hopefully something works out. So it's a bit of a tough decision. Probably in a low tier game, this gun is the better gun. In a higher tier game, maybe the other gun is, although there will be tanks you can't penetrate with both guns. Aha, there's the sneaky bugger, the Chi-Hate. He was spotting us. Now, artillery landed next to me again. So even though we lined up there on the Chi-Hate, as we lined up on him, he didn't know that he was spotting us. It looks like he was trying to hit the other tank. and he was tunnel visioning. But he actually spotted us again. Artillery has another go at us. So I decided to take the long way round and head to their cap and see if I can get them from behind. So I'm just going to speed this up to 4 times. Just bear in mind, I might just slow down again so you can see. We're doing 43 kilometers an hour, which is the maximum speed of the tank. So on this sort of ground, it does reach its maximum speed. So I'll speed it up again. And now slow down back to normal speed. So we only have 2 tanks left, myself and a light tank, and they have 3 artillery, a TD and a medium Matilda. I take my time, I make sure I'm aimed in, he's not looking at me. And a 1-shot kill, which is very satisfying. So HE did its work there. I've undoubtedly been spotted though. Even though he didn't realise he'd spotted me, he would have spotted me, I'm pretty sure. Using the cover of this bush to come up and see what I can see. I'm being a little bit cautious because I was spotted and HE may be zooming in on me right now. I mean HE artillery. So far can't see anything, just waiting for my binoculars to kick in, and the priest, there he is, behind the building, darn it, he's coming out. Okay, let's have a shot here. Oh, it went over him. Oh, he's turning his gun towards me, he's aiming up at me. We track him. Oh no! Artillery has fired and just missed me. The other artillery. 12 damage to an artillery. Are you kidding me? I hit his tracks. I think it's absorbed most of the damage. Artillery bounces right in front of me again. We managed to get the priest. There's one arty left, and he obviously knows I'm here. He's been firing at me like crazy. There he is. Birch gun. Oh, nice. 151 damage. I moved to try and throw his aim off. Line up my second shot, and oh no, I missed. I hit the ground. Oh! Darn it. Oh well. So, unfortunately, we lost that game. They they capped us out. We managed to get a Class 2 badge, and we got 5 kills. So if I had killed that birch gun in there, we would have got a top gun. So unfortunately, we just missed out. A little bit spewing about that because I won't be playing this tank again. Let's go on to the next screen, and you can see that we finished on top for our team for experience. We got a lot more experience than anyone else in the team actually. And we finished on top for damage as well, and I think the other team, there was a couple of players that did more damage than us. So we finished about 3rd for damage overall. That birch gun had a good game, 3 kills and top damage 880 damage. Pretty impressive for a birch gun. Let's have a look at the next screen, and we fired 20 shots. 13 of those hit and 13 penetrated, although a few of those were track damage. We did 771 damage, which is quite good in tier 3. We copped a couple of hits. Enemy vehicles spotted 4, damaged 8, destroyed 5. That's a really good game. We also did 345 assistance damage. We received a fair bit of coin for that one, plus a little reward. Didn't spend much on ammunition, all standard ammo, and made, without the bonus, we still would have made pretty good money, about 15 grand or something like that. Now, experience-wise, we earned 556 XP, which was a Class 2. I'm pretty sure if we'd won this game, it would have been a Mastery badge. Pretty confident of that. Alright, that's it. Thank you for watching my review of the M2 medium tank. I hope you liked it. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. And if you'd like to see more reviews, please subscribe to ReginaldESQ. Have fun.